you're going to, 80% chances are you're going to bomb. And it's not going to really matter. Nobody's ever going to remember it. I don't care if you go up on an open mic at a bar, whatever's easy for you, karaoke, they all count. Get up there.
The only way to get good is to be bad.
Yeah.
I learned, if I had a great night and killed, I learned more from a night when I didn't. I never say I killed, so at 10 years, I still don't say I ever killed. But if I had a great night, if I had a bad night, of course, the next morning, I'm like, I'm quitting, this isn't for me. You don't quit. But I learned so much more from those nights.
I would never quit. I would just tell myself that I was a piece of shit, that what made me think I could ever do this. And then you go, okay, I'll give this another month. And if you don't fucking make it work, I'm done with you, comedy. And then something good happens.
That's what happened. I would get into a place where I'd be like, how am I doing this with my life? I'm giving everything up for this, to pursue this dream. And then you have a bad night. You'd be like, I'm not a comic. This isn't for me. And then boom, you get something, or you get it. And you're like, it's like it takes one good night to erase 30 bad. And then you're right back. You're right back into the like, oh, I can do this.
Now think about if people are at home right now watching this. That conversation you just said, you think you're crazy. If you said that to me 30 years ago, I'm like, you're fucking crazy. I got to have 30 bad nights to have one good night? You're fucking crazy. But explain to them how good that night is.
That one good one night, it's like I found who I am. Like I know what I'm meant to do. And it's like an actualization. Like you can't really explain it. It's just like, this is who I am. Like, and you find yourself in that night. And you go, this is it. I'm going to do whatever I got to do to feel this again. And then, of course, it's a different level of chase when you get to a certain level. When you one great night, great. But I should have been, you start going, oh, where you want to be, like where I wanted to be 10 years ago. Now I'm not as grateful as maybe I should be, right? Because now I'm looking at the next 10 years. So you kind of really humble yourself in these times. And I got to say, this is where I wanted to be. This is exactly what I wanted to do. Be happy with where you are now. But it's hard when you get into this. But those good nights, man, it's the best feeling in the world. That's why I'm here.
I want to write another book about like that experience. Like I didn't really dive into it in my book, like that experience from 1991 to 2000. If I look at my life, those were the best 9 years of my life. And I slept in cars. I had to borrow money to do showcases. The one club gave me 6 weeks of work, and then a month later they shut all the clubs down after I drove 14 hours each way. You don't want to tell this to people but it's all part of this fucking thing that's so close to your heart when you really, really look at it. Traveling the States and meeting different people, like being stuck in a town and somebody helps you and you're like, the world is a fucking vampire. You know what I'm saying? Like the world is a great place that people will come to your help even when, and dog, nobody knew who I was. When I was getting $50 in the triple runs, a show, nobody even acknowledges you, okay? You're the guy under the headliner. And I still wouldn't trade it in for anything else. I still remember sleeping in hotels where it was owned by Hindu people, and you could smell the curry coming into the vents all night and shit like that. And the whole hotel smell, I can't, but it's all part of the fucking, the experience. Like when you look at getting to Rock Springs, Wyoming, and the hotel saying we only got one room, you got to spend the night with the headliner in the same room, and he's snoring and he hates LA, and he's one of those fucking negative headliners. These are all that's all part of who you are. Like this is what's on my sleeve now.
And you need that thick skin in this industry, and that makes you stronger, that makes you tougher. Like you...
Listen, that thick skin is going to go with you forever. You need to rip the scab off your soul and build it back because it's going to come in handy in 15 years. It's going to come in handy in 20 years. And that's what a lot of people, everybody's in such a rush. They miss those early steps. And then you're going to have to go back. So do them now. That's why my motto has always been, you could pay me now or you could pay me later. I didn't invent it. Pennzoil did in the fucking 80s. If you don't change your oil in your car.
And this is a word from our sponsor.
And this is a word from our sponsor. Pennzoil. But it's the truth. And I know for a fact, it goes with comedy. Because let me tell you what's happening with comedy today.
I know what he's going to say.
Fucking, and you know this, what's happening with comedy today, and I have nothing against these people, is that a guy makes a video on YouTube.
Social media.
Then he makes another video on YouTube. Then he makes another video on YouTube. He gets like 10 million downloads. Now somebody just says to him, you should just do stand-up. Well, I don't know how it happens. You know, it could happen that way, or they are doing stand-up online, cracking little jokes, and then they start going into clubs. And they go into clubs with a following.
Yeah.
Which I didn't have a following. I'll never forget, David Tell came up to me in Miami one night, and he goes, dog, I like what you're doing as a feature act, because you are building a following. Because when you do hit later on, these people are going to feel responsible. They saw you, and they're going to come out and see you even more. And it's the truth.
It is.
Whenever I go to Miami or those places, Houston, people come up to me and go, I remember seeing you open for Rogan in '98 when you took your dick out and you chased the fucking penguin across the, you know. And it's,
how could they forget?
How can they forget?
No, but it's true.
All that builds, and people don't know that. So this YouTube sensation that you got, he's got 30 million. He sells out the Improv.
Yeah.
And this is all great, but he's performing in front of his crowd. He's performing in front of his own people. He never won one over.
Right.
This is what's happened with YouTube.
Right.
You never won a crowd over. They come in to see you and you attack. Now, one day, Bob Kelly's going to come up to you and go, hey, why don't we go do a set at Gotham? Why don't we go do a set at the Comedy Cellar? And you're going to go up in front of the audience that isn't you. And it's going to shock you to no fucking end.
You could not say it. You could have not made a better comparison to what that is. I know.
It's not good.
I see it now when, like, you know, and listen, I'll be a feature act if it's a big enough name, or somebody's selling out. You know, say, oh, this, you know, this kid sold out, you know, the club or whatever, and I got to do 35 or 40 minutes as an opener. You don't got an act. You just filled seats, and
it's crazy when you see that.
And then they go, oh, you know, you were great. I couldn't follow, or yeah, well, you have to do, you know, before you put your name, because you want people to come back to see you, and it's an easy mistake. Listen, you get popularity like that, you think like anything else, oh, I can do it. We have to be respected in it either. No.
You're not going to get respected because you deserve no respect.
Right.
But then you go up in front of your these audiences, and they're blowing smoke up your ass, and that's not healthy.
I know.
That's not healthy. Not to mention you overskipped the MC, the process of the MC, and you overskipped the process
where
of the
feature. Where you grow
feature.
the most, yeah.
They're there for a reason. Those two positions are there for a reason. You have to go through the ranks for a reason. Okay, you went to the Army, you went to college, you got your officer. Now you're coming as an officer. That means you're coming as a fucking MC.
Right.
That's what that means. You don't come in as a fucking,
headliner.
you know, somebody else, you come in as a, watch this and listen. With fucking a guy who, like, I took a comedy class. It was a 3-week class. It didn't really cover.
Right.
He told me to get Judy Carter's book, and then Judy Carter took it from there.
Yeah,
It's whatever. So, but I did those ranks. I bombed. I still remember going to a room that started at 11, and the guy coming up to me every 15 minutes going, 15 more minutes, 15 more minutes. And it's 1:15. And there's 8 people left. And you invited 6 of your friends to come see you, and they drove you, and they took you to dinner. You know, these things, you know, I'll never forget doing the Latin Comedy Festival for the Toyota Comedy Festival, the Latin thing at Caroline's, and that comic threw me to the wolves. He fucking made me follow a salsa band because he didn't like me at the end. He put the salsa band up.
Right, now everybody's dancing, they're moving.
Can you fucking believe
the
that?
show is done.
I had to follow a fucking salsa band. And that stays with you for a long time. You're like, how could I, like when I got off the stage that night, I'm like, how could I have handled that better? And I went home and took my notebook in the middle of all, and I go, no, you can't handle that. That's not what should have happened. You go up before the fucking band. They did like 3 songs at Caroline's.
Oh no, that's
And the guy kept saying to me, but you're really strong. Go up after them. And I'm like, I'm not fucking strong. What the fuck are you talking about?
It doesn't make a difference how strong you are. You've just changed the whole vibe of the room, the whole energy.
Are you excited for Saturday night?
I am excited for Saturday. I am.
How long have you been working this material for?
I put some new stuff in there, which almost you would never do, but if I don't like it, I can take it out. Yeah. So it's some of my, I even took some of my first jokes that I don't even do anymore because I want to have everything out there and then see what is I really want. Like, what I want on this album, because this is my first real intro.
And then you do know that your life is going to be hell next Monday once you're out of material.
Oh, I know.
Oh.
It's like a double-edged sword. Like, part of me is like, oh my God, that's it now. Like, now you have to start back to the drawing board. But there's also a part of me that's like, I don't want to do those jokes anymore. So it's like, I feel it like.
I'm really proud of you that you're doing this. And it's so crazy to say that to someone. Again, another thing that's crazy. You can't wait to put together your jokes. And you can't wait to go tell them. And what a great feeling it is to fucking write a new act and you're enjoying it and jokes are flying out of you. But then, all of a sudden, you shoot this fucking special. And
now what?
And now you're out of jokes.
What's that going to be like? Tell me.
Okay, so now you're going to, what we discussed, you're going to have your leftover jokes that you didn't, that they didn't take in the special, and you have that left over. So you could take what you have and take that material from a different direction. I would just start from scratch. And it's brutal. It's brutal. It's what I've been going through the last 6 months here, trying to do material and, not being able to grow with it. Like the last 6 months, I've had a hard time fucking writing here. So now I'm okay. I wrote some great stuff for this week. But when you shoot a special, you have to go up there for like 2 weeks and find the hook. Then once you find the hook, you're like, thank God, I got 3 minutes. Then you have 7 minutes. And then you go, oh, shit, I wrote a joke close to this a year ago. Let me go back in that notebook and get that joke out that I couldn't fix it with anything else. And that's how you start putting things together. And then you're up to 20 minutes and you're fine. Because now at least you can do sets.
Right.
You got 20 minutes. So
right.
It's when you don't have any material.
I know.
And you got to go up there and start from scratch. And that's what in fact, I'm telling you, that's what I had to do. And since I was out of the comedy, listen, when you do comedy every night, 10 years, 15 years, and I've said it on here before, you become, your mind is sharp. Like if you see something, you process it right away. It's very funny. The pandemic and what I was going through took me away from that state of mind.
We weren't really seeing it, right? Which
the state of mind is, which when we're driving, and I can just come up with a joke when I see somebody.
Right.
Now I'm starting to get it back. I still have the ability. After last week's show, I could tell the joke writing is starting to come back. It's taken a lot longer than I wanted it to, but
we weren't living during the pandemic. I feel like in order, and I realize this now when I don't want to take a break or I feel like I got to get up every night. I'm like, I got to live life in order to joke about it. And I feel like we're kind of getting back to our groove. And that's why it's coming back now. And that's why. Yeah,
but there were some people who went right back on the horse. Like I thought comedy clubs are going to be packed. All these comics are going to go back and do their regime, go back to a club, start from scratch, pack up material and get to theaters and stuff. No, it was a week later and most comics went right back to where they were, right back to a theater. For me, but I look at things a lot differently. I don't like going up there just to crack jokes. I want them to get something. I want them to get an hour from me, and that's not always possible. I'm not going to have that ability at all times because, like even now, I feel like I'm doing okay, but I'm not Joey Diaz.
I just saw you, and I just saw you perform.
Well, but Uncle Vinny's 2 weeks ago. I feel comfortable now, but I'm not where I was before the pandemic. It's taken a long time, and correct, I haven't been working out like I would in LA. Like I knew different rooms, everything was a lot closer to me. But I'm feeling it again, and it's been fucking fun.
It's good to hear you say that.
No,
I think you scared some people when you were like, "Yeah, I'm not going to do it anymore." Everybody was like, "Ah."
I don't want to do it to the extent I was doing it.
But
I don't want to do like somebody offered me a tour next year, and I thought about it. I didn't say no yet. I haven't said anything. I just was like, I don't know. Because why though? Because it's taxing when you think about it, or because you're at a point now where you can allow balance in your life. Like I feel like when you first start, you're not going to get. There's no balance. There's like a tunnel vision. There's no such thing as balance when you first start. There was no balance at all. Nothing.
But now you've got a beautiful home. You're giving your daughter a completely different childhood than she would have had back in LA. You have different friends. There are different things you're interested in. You're going out to dinner tonight with friends instead of going to a club. Or do you think that's why? Because you're trying to find that happy medium? Like, why would you say no to a tour? Not that you have said no yet.
It's my fucking weekends, man. It's my fucking weekends. I've given up my weekends for 30 years.
30 years, yeah.
Okay, so